Dying Light is honestly one of my favorite games of all time. The game looked incredible for the age it released in and behaved just as well. It truly felt like a next generation release for the zombie genre, a topic that was starting to fall off in the coming years. There are plenty of mechanics that at the time had felt the best of any game I had played for a while. Everything felt like it truly connected, like a rusty pipe bouncing off the skull of the undead, or one of the many abilities earned from the skill trees. It felt great to test out all the new mechanics possible with the new generation, as Dying Light released on January 26, 2015, and the consoles being around late November 2014. You're placed into the shoes of Kyle Cranin, a middle-aged man that specializes in parkour and allegedly served in the United States Armed Forces. Not much is known about Cranin though, as he seems to lack a backstory entirely, most likely being intentionally. Despite this, he's a great protagonist that really complements the tone of the game with his realistic actions and attitude. He's also voiced by Roger Craig Smith, who's also done Sonic, Ezio from Assassin's Creed, and Batman in Arkham Origins. Roger has also been in many films such as Wreck-It Ralph, the Regular Show movie, and even Resident Evil. This game is dark. The world is filled in this orange hue. Civilians succumb to the virus now roam the streets, and they're very ugly. The models are incredibly detailed and the animations are just as great. They'll stumble and fall, behaving as absolute husks while feasting on the flesh of the once living. Heads are decapitated, arms severed, bones crushed, cranium shattered.
Destiny arrives all the same. Turns the legs to jelly.
A lot of cinematic things happen in this game, and they never get tiring or break the immersion. These aspects are even greater now because Techland, the developers, released a visual update for the game on June 26, 2025, improving the looks of this game even 10 years later. Now, not everything looks different, and some things are even hard to notice, but most moments can look incredible. They released visual updates for both games, by the way. Techland is known for listening to the community and making the players happy. Dying Light has been supported fully for these 10 years with hundreds of free updates, patches, and content drops along with community events which would temporarily change how the game performed, usually handing you an overpowered weapon to hit a public goal in which every player would receive the blueprint to make said weapon. And the developers absolutely cooked for the designs. If you don't feel like using a sword or gun, you can obtain the power of Zeus and practically make this apocalypse your playground. There are plenty of weapons to use and they all feel and look amazing. Even Noam Chomsky's in the game. You'll go from finding pipes in the trash to stumbling across a man who couldn't bear the state of the world, where you can take his weapon as your own and take down the infected with ease. Or how about the EXP Caliber, a hidden collectible that you can obtain from pulling out of a zombie hidden away on a rock in the water, in which you must hold the same action for 3 entire minutes, where you'll then be granted the weapon and blueprint along with the body bursting into an immediate flame. This being a reference to the story of King Arthur and the Sword in the Stone. And that's not even scratching the surface. There are plenty of secrets and collectibles to find, often being references to other media such as this Paizo suit being in reference to the Tanuki suit from Mario, allowing you to glide in the air, or the Twilight Phantom, which is Link's sword from The Legend of Zelda. The best part of these items is that you can really understand the kind of damage you're dealing with all of the great feedback the game provides you with. Blades really feel sharp as they cut through the undead like butter, but a broken weapon that needs repair will reflect from hitting a chunk of flesh. The two-handed weapons feel heavy and impactful, allowing you to cave in the skulls and destroy limbs.
Now I got the information that I need, and now I have to break your neck. It's just the way it is. I'm just a messenger.
Techland did an amazing job, allowing the player to feel how much damage they're truly doing, whether you're drop-kicking a zombie and hearing the bones fracture and muscles tear, or the horrifying screams of the virals after causing a loud explosion or gunshot indicating that they have heard you and are coming. While the standard walkers are fun enough, the game is packed with numerous different enemy types. Come across an airdrop and you'll likely be faced with a pack of Ryze's goons. And speaking of goon, you'll eventually come across one, a hulking giant that uses rebar proud from the concrete to swing and pound. There's a great selection of variety, but I don't want to spoil anything, so let's move on to the parkour. This was Dying Light's main attraction, a zombie game in which you could scale any building and escape any encounter, given that you knew how to utilize Crane's existing and unlockable means of transportation. It feels fluid and snappy. Rarely do you ever find yourself getting stuck on anything or accidentally doing the wrong input, in which would lead to a fatal mistake. Whether you're jumping from the skulls of your enemies to propel yourself, or using the classic video game mechanic of jumping into trash bags and cars from 100 feet in the air, protecting you from the damage, there's an abundance of ways to traverse, explore, and escape. While maybe running isn't your thing, despite it literally being the motto, Partake in the following: Dying Light's first real massive expansion pack, not counting Bozak and Cuisine as they aren't in the same scale. Experience a new map with a continuation of the story, with new weapons, outfits, and vehicles. The following introduce the buggy in which you can upgrade and utilize to get around the countryside in a more swift manner, but maybe you don't like walking, running, driving, or climbing. Most of you will probably know where I'm going with this. The grappling hook. Upon reaching Survivor level 12, the hook can be purchased from the respective skill tree, handing you a permanent tool that players can infinitely utilize. The range and general use makes this item a blast. Is it unrealistic? Absolutely, but Dying Light shines from its fun mechanics brought into this dreadful world. Long gone are the days of running from one side of the map to the other when you can just practically fly there. Along with the skill trees giving you more opportunity to play exactly how you want, there's an abundance of other blueprints that allow you to make your weapons even stronger and apply effects like poisoning, freeze, and electricity. These carried over from Dead Island and is what the game is heavily inspired and based off of. The choices never end and they only get more ridiculous the farther you explore, providing you with endless entertainment. Some of you may think that these items look broken and unbalanced, but you'll honestly need them. Playing along with Dying Light's horror elements, they bring upon you one of gaming's most terrifying enemies, that being the Volatiles. Virals are the recently infected, this being noticeable as they will fight back against the corruption and speak to you. They're quick and more aggressive than the average walker, but Volatiles are the ultimate apex predator. Consumed by a far more advanced stage of infection, these brutes will sprint to your location in first glance, being equipped with armor-like skin and mandibles. Even with the selection of enemies provided, Volatiles are the clear winners of the food chain, until you bring up the Night Hunter, but this consists of spoilers, so I won't dive into it. The only moderately bad thing I can say about Dying Light is that the story just isn't that impactful, but in the grand scheme of things, this doesn't matter. The gameplay is so fun and fresh that you can excuse the characters being dry and uninteresting. I actually like the story myself, but there are definitely glaring issues that just make you laugh. But I still think that it's worth learning. Techland really packed as much joy into this game as they could, and they still provide. It makes me very excited to see this game still get supported, as I hope for it to never die, but I know this is unrealistic. Dying Light 2 was an amazing adaptation, despite what people initially thought, and so it makes me feel very confident about the new game, Dying Light the Beast. This game does very many things right, with little things wrong. It's truly an underrated gem that deserves more attention than it's gotten. The player count primarily comes from console, but even on Steam, it won't average more than 5,000 daily players, although this is still a solid player count for a game that released a decade ago. I hope that one day I can shake the hands of the artists that brought this game to life. It truly means a lot to me and has given me an overwhelming amount of enjoyment. I can't wait for the new game to release, and I will definitely be playing it the second it drops. I strongly believe that Dying Light will go down as one of the best zombie games to ever release.